Hey guys, it's Trisha, the left-handed stitcher. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm here to do a update type video. It's been about 4 months since I did a video, and my last one was my words. It's gonna be one of those nights. Words as they're tough sometimes. My annual whip parade. So 4 months worth of stitching. I will show you all the projects that I worked on in those 4 months. Then we're gonna move to some plans, I think. We might do Stitchy Life and then do plans, or a little bit of plans, a little bit of Stitchy Life, a little bit of plans. We'll just see how it flows. And then at the end, I'm going to do books. I have not done books before, but I think I'll start adding that onto my videos. So we'll see. So fair warning, this is going to be a long video, so buckle it up, Buttercup. You are more than welcome to binge this video, watch it in segments, or skip parts entirely. It's up to you. So let's just jump in. For the last 4 months, I have worked on 21 of my currently 41 whips. I had 5 new starts and 1 finish. So let's start with my finish. So this was the first project I worked on for Spring into Action in the magazine monthly. So I finished my 0 days. 0 days without sarcasm. It's a little thing that I stitched for my husband, because he is a master at sarcasm. And so my plan is to find a frame that is roughly, that size, and frame it up so he can put it up at his workstation at work. So this project, it was stitched on, I think, well, I know it's Aida. I think it's really small Aida. What did I put? 18 count white Aida using anchor black. So I finished this one on the 18th of March. It is a pattern. Let me get my card out again. It's a pattern from an Etsy seller by the name of Modern Counts. Can't guarantee it's still there, but because I've had this pattern in my stash for quite a while. But there's my one finish for the first part of 2024. So the next part is going to be the $16 whips. Well, no. 16 whips plus the 5 new starts, in no particular order, except for I've segmented the first grouping just to be the whips I've worked on, and then the whips I've worked on that are part of Stitch Mania are at the end, and then I will show you what I'm going to stitch on during Stitch Mania. So this is my focus piece. I've just been motivated to work on this. Give me a moment. I have it open to a certain page. So this is my The Four Seasons by Marjolaine Baston. So there's her name, scrolly up the pattern. I just love her artwork and how it really translates well to cross stitch. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. So, okay, this is current Trisha, kind of telling past Trisha, you know what, you really should have done this before we started filming. I am stitching it on an 8x8 Q-snap, and it is a monstrous piece. And usually if I show you the whole thing on a whip parade and the only progress I've made is within the Q-snap, I'll just show you what's in the Q-snap, and if you are interested in seeing the rest of it, you go back and watch the whip parade. So, I use little pieces of white flannel fabric on the clamps. Alright, let me just take that needle off of there. I was kind of trying to work towards a good stopping point before I started the video, but life had other plans. Okay, so if I remember correctly, I probably had the bench done at the beginning of the year. If that, I don't remember when I started this. But this is a big one, so I gotta stand up. And there it is. I have gotten the border all the way up to the top and started working across. So there it is as of right now. Let's see if I can get it a little closer. Isn't that just gorgeous? Just gorgeous. And that border is no joke. That is a beast of a border. But I am enjoying this cross stitch so much. And I can't really explain it. I don't know why I feel the motivation to work on it. So what happens is I tend to look at the Magical Stitches prompts and see how many of them I can pick this for. And it's surprising at how many I can fit it into. And then on the months that I managed to finish my Magical Stitches prompts before the end of the month, I tend to just work on this project for the rest of the month whenever I feel stitchy. My stitchy bug is clamoring for some thread, needle, and fabric work. So give me a moment. This is those of you who have done videos and you've had to un-Q-snap a project know once you start to put everything back into the bag, it's quite a few little bits and pieces of things. Get my needle minder in there too. So this project has so much floss. The floss has its own project bag, and what I do when I start on a section, I'll go through and find the symbols that are going to be needed in that section, and I'll pull them out so that I can just grab this out of my bag, and then once I hit a point where I might need more floss, then I have that other project bag to refer to get the other floss. Alright, so that was number 1. Hopefully the rest of these should go pretty easy. So this is my seahorse and the pattern is Seahorse and Seashells by Dirty Annie's Southern Style. So this is what it looks like. And there's what its mock-up looks like. And there's her logo. And this one is turning out beautiful. So I'm using the called for floss. I'm stitching on, I don't know if it's white or antique white. Give me a moment. 32 count white Lugana with the called for. I think it's cottage blue. Yep. Cottage blue by Gentle Art. So pretty. So pretty. The variegation is gorgeous. And I like this kind of mosaic-y kind of look. It's so pretty. And I started this because Magical Stitches asked for a project with a horse in it. So I was like, okay, but it's a seahorse, but I think that counts. So there we are. This is always fun. Always fun to work on. Alright, so this next one is actually called Scaredy Cats. It's by JBW Designs. So here's what the original looks like. The front of my pattern got stuck to something, so it has this weird remnant pattern on there. But there's what it's called, and I am actually stitching. I actually call this one Feline Halloween. So let's just do a quick partial Q-snap. So this was the second project I worked on for Spring into Action. So there we go. This is how far I am so close to a finish, but so you'll be seeing this one as a finish in my next video, probably. It all depends on, let's see if I wrote it down. What's left? I have 133 stitches to finish this project. So we'll see what happens in the coming months. It'll get finished when it gets finished. But it's super cute. I'm stitching it with NPI black and a silken colors called Monster Mash. And the reason I'm stitching it like this, I saw a stitched example at Keepsakes when I was at StitchCon last year, and it was stitched with those threads, and it just looked so nice. It caught my eye, and I had to do it. So there we go. Well, you know, when you don't film often, you can feel it. There's just this sense of, like, I'm not used to this anymore. Alright, so this next project is Silver Moon Tea by Mirabilia. And there's the picture. And Pretty sure I'm doing this on an antique white or a cream. I'm doing it on 32 count cream Lugana, and here's where I'm at. Oh good. So here's the whole thing. Now since the moon is close to the same color as the fabric, it's kind of hard. Yep, I think there you can tell how far I am down on the moon. So I made it to there, and now I'm getting into the part where her arm comes up and she's holding the cup of tea. So really I just have to do this much right here, do her skin, and then all the beads, the crap ton of beads. This, I mean, because this little space right here around the moon is probably about 3 or 4 beads deep. So it's gonna be fun. But it's a gorgeous pattern, and she fits into a lot of prompts. Most years she gets a lot of prompts. This year she's only gotten a few so far, but she does a little bit of progress every time she gets picked up. The next one, this is a cutie. So this is a kit by Dimensions called Merry and Bright Bear. Let's find its little picture. There it is. So cute. And this is my progress on him. Let's see if I can hold it so you can see the white, because let's get closer. So right now I'm just doing the white part of the bear, getting very close to getting to his feet. So this is being stitched on 32 count Lugana. Picture This Plus in Arctic, and I think it's gonna look so good on this fabric. There he is. I did have to frog out a fair amount of those white stitches, which is painful, and redo them. So, but I'm now back on track. Alright, so this one is the Treasure Island Sal by Flosstube Embroidery. Let's see, I don't think I have a full picture in here because it was mystery. I have the full one downloaded. Oh wait, yes I do. I printed out the full picture. So this is what it will look like when I'm done. So this one is being stitched on a 32 count Lugana in Vintage Country Mocha. And I'm using the kit. I ordered the floss from Flosstube, and I elected to try their Russian-based floss. Never again. Never again. It's difficult to stitch with. So from now on, DMC base when I order from them. Okay, and this is my progress. Currently I'm still in my first Q-snap position, but I think I've gotten some good progress. That house, that house was a bit of stitching. And when you do 200 stitches at a time. But this one has been nice. It's been fitting for things like if I need a boat or a ship or a fish or a skeleton or bones, or the chest. The chest has been the object of a prompt or two. So this one doesn't have any need for finishing, so it's just going to get work done whenever a prompt fits it. Alright, so this is my first new start. This one was my, let's see, let's do this real quick. I got my list right here. Stormy, Lighthouse, Ice Cardinal, Rose. Okay, so this was January's kit start. Since I'm doing my cross stitch kit start 2024, I'm gonna do one kit start each month. Here's what the picture looks like. It is a kit by Perman. Let's see, that's the name. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Lugana and Vintage Stormy Night. And here is where I'm at. So this is an upper left hand start. Let's see if I can corral the thread. And that's how much I've gotten done. This has got a few prompts so far. And I think it's just going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous project when it's done. So pretty. So again, new starts. It is not, this one's got more than the others. So what I'm finding is, yeah, they do. I'm finding prompts to fit them into, so that is nice. All right, so the next is a new start. It's my February kit start, and it's a dimensions kit, methinks. Well, shiznit. I don't have the picture in here, so let me write myself a note for next time. Ice Cardinal. I think what it is I pulled the picture from the original packaging, and I was going to go to Staples to get a copy of it, and I hadn't done that yet. But let's do this real quick. This is what it's going to look like. It's called Ice Cardinal. And if I remember correctly, it is a dimensions kit. So this is where I'm at. So upper left hand start. Not too many stitches. This one, I think this kit, does this kit have blends? I don't know. I know some of the kits I've started to work on have blends, but I believe this is 18 count Black Ada, and not so much, but you can kind of see what the branches, the ice covered branches, are gonna look like. So this one's fun to stitch on. I don't mind the Black Ada. I just make sure that I have good magnification and good lighting, and I work it pretty well. But there was that one. Okay, so Okay, the next one is my Coastal Holiday Lighthouse Stocking. And it's a Stony Creek. Gotta find my picture. Okay, well, it's from Stony Creek magazine. And there it is on the cover. So pretty. I saw this being stitched. It was pretty close to done on another Flosstube, and I fell in love. So I immediately went to Stony Creek and I ordered this edition, which is the volume 30, number 3. Oh wait, it's printed with light color on light color. It's summer 2018 is what this edition is. So it is being stitched on 32 count vintage Stormy Night Lugana with, okay, so I'll show you it right now where it's in the Q-snap. So that's where I'm working on, starting to work on the basket. And the other cardinal is going to go right there. So this is going to be another Q-snap undo, which it's always fun, but nice. It's nice to show you guys what's going on with it. It's only at whip parades that I do the Uber prepping, where I've already un-Q-snapped everything that needed to be un-Q-snapped. So I have a hanging thread I parked from when I was doing back stitching. So here, let's get that over there. Here's where we are. Got most of the lower part of the done and working down into the basket. This is such a fun thing to do. I'm really enjoying stitching this one. So let's fold the up. This is another one that before I started the 4 seasons, this was my focus that I just felt the need to stitch on. So let's get it just goes into the project bag easier when the Q-snap has been assembled. Let's stick my needle minder in there. Okay, so Coastal Holiday Lighthouse Stocking. I usually just write it down as CHLS because I get a little tired of writing out that long ass name. You notice how some of your whips you write out the name and some of them you create an acronym for them? Alright, so the next one is another new start. This is my March kit start. It is called Stained Glass Rose and it's an old Jan Lynn kit. So this is what it looks like. I love stained glass, and this little kit just has been in my stash a long time. And so I finally got around to starting it. So not very exciting. I have a single color in the middle. It's a middle start. I am stitching this on, hopefully I wrote it down on something, because I haven't made a card for it yet. If I remember correctly, let's do a little peek. I always write the fabric on the bottom corner of its border fabric. It's down here somewhere. Usually I get it there. In a memento, maybe I wrote it at the top. Okay. Yep, it's 32 count helix by Picture This Plus. So that, because I figured I wanted a fabric that sort of mimicked a stained glass look. It's a mostly full coverage, but it's just got those little parts at the top and bottom where it has the lines from the, you know, the stained glass lead, or not, you know, leading. They call it lead even sometimes you're not using lead. So I figured that would be good. So the next one is a whip called Berry Patch. Let's see, I think it's, is it Hello? Yep, Hello from Liz Matthews, called Berry Patch. And let's get the card out. Here's where we're at. This got a few props. So cute, so cute. Starting to put the little berries in, and I think it's going to look really good on this fabric. This is 32 count antique blue Lugana. I think it says Weigart product. So pretty, so cute. It's a fun stitch. And it's got enough going on. I can usually find prompts to fit it into. Next one is my antique Celtic sampler by Elizabeth's Needlework Designs. Antique Celtic sampler, and there it is. Some people just call it Here Be Monsters. And I'm gonna get my card so I can tell you the details. And this is where I'm at. Look at that. I'm using all the called for floss. And there's the bottom. That's the bottom. So we're actually getting pretty close to a finish on this one. I just have some fiche down here and a little block. And then I have to come back up here, put in the bee again, and then I have a little, there were birds right here, and that really just didn't scream monstrous to me, so I have a little monster that I found a pattern that kind of mimics, if you've ever watched Outlander, not Outlander, but a sci-fi movie called Outlander. The monster, the alien monster. In that I found a little tiny pattern that was, somebody did that sort of depicted that thing. So that's what I'm going to put there. I think it was Marwin. It's been a little while since I've watched it. I do watch it repeatedly because I one of those movies I just love. I think we're not going to stack that one. We're going to stick that there. Okay, next one is Cross Stitch Nation by, give me a moment. Best Twist. Yep, so let's grab your picture by Anna Heartstring Samplery. And there's what the pattern looks like. So I changed it up a bit. I'm doing have the card. Why do I put the card back in? Jeez. So I'm stitching this on 32 count Silvery Moon Lugana, and I'm picking all my own colors. And this is where I'm at. I actually have a bit here. It just goes to the second T in stitch. So it was a center start. And once I figure what I'll do is what I'm actually doing is I'm auditioning the colors that I chose to make sure that they all work together, which is good because I'm not sure the green that I picked is going to work, so I may have to do some searching for a different green. I'll work the top border across, and then I'll finish the text on it. So, but I think, because the lights are kind of blowing it out, so that just that subtle gray fabric, these colors are just popping. I love it. I live it. So much. This is, you know, it's fun. It's fun trying my own colors and just getting it, you know, to my own sense of style. So pretty. Alright. Oh, reaching. See if it's, get the other two not to fall, so I don't have to reach so far. Oh, this one. This one's getting close to a finish. This is Through the Storms by Silver Creek Samplers. Through the Storm or Through the Storms? Through the Storms. But there's what the picture looks like. And let's grab my card out of here. Well, there's my card. Sorry about that. Alright. Let's move you over. And this is... Okay, so you can kind of see the white stitching from that angle. So all I have to do is finish out these raindrops. And then I've got a few letters of a word over here. Back here that I have to finish up because I actually ran out of floss. I had to go buy a new skein, but I am getting pretty darn close to a finish on this one. This is actually gonna be a anniversary gift to my husband, because so instead of putting that there, I put our marriage date because we got married in Germany, and then here was our wedding date because we came back to the States and did a wedding for the family. So This is a super cute pattern. I'm getting close, so close. Alright, this is my new start. My kit start for April. And this give me a moment. I'm relatively certain. Well, Trisha, why don't we have a picture in here? Okay, but thankfully I have its box right here. So there we are. That's what it looks like. It's a kit by Lennart. So Lennart, and so pretty. It's gorgeous. So this is being stitched on a 32 count Lugana in antique white. And there's where I'm at. This is an upper left hand start. So you can kind of see it's just going to be that right there. His little dark part in his eye circle. There it is. This is gonna look so pretty when it's done. So pretty. But it's a full coverage. It's a smaller full coverage. So, just some fun stitches. Alright. Alright, the last one I have here is my New Year, New Start. I started Cirque to Circles by Ink Circles. Let's see. Did I do a picture? I did not. Well, let's make notes. Cirque, pick, snow owl, pick. Okay, so this is a center-ish start. Yep, center-ish start. And this is what I have. Just a little bit. It was only stitched on for the New Year's Day. I chose a thread. Did I? Frustration with myself. I didn't write it on the, and I don't have the little card anymore. So it's a overdyed floss. You see it's brown and turquoise. And to be honest, I am not sure I like it. And I'm doing this on 32 count taupe Lugana. I'm not sure I like it on there. I can't, I might just stitch a little bit more since I already have all the floss. I might stitch a little bit more and make my decision if I want to stick with that floss or frog it and start with something else. But, so, I might have to just finish a motif and make my decision. But, I mean, I think it will look good. I might continue with it. Who knows? But Cirque to Circles. Something I've been wanting to stitch for a long time. And I'm pretty sure I got a hank of floss from Live and Die in LA that I really think might work for this, but I have to find it. Because I haven't done gather all the floss that I've purchased and get it into my floss storage in a while, so it's going to take some time. But we'll just we'll do a motif, then I'll make my decision. Maybe once I find the other floss, I'll do another motif and see which one I like better. Because it's such a big project, I want to be enamored with what it's looking like. Because otherwise I won't stitch on it. So, okay. The next bucket. This is where we're getting into, the first grouping is going to be whips. So, but then I will continue on and so we're getting into what is going to be my Stitch Mania. So Stitch Mania for me this year is going to be a combination of the original format and the Blame Me Cat method. So I have several whips that were started for Stitch Mania in previous years. They get stitched on the day. So here's my list. So I will show you first the whips that were worked on in the first 4 months of this year, and then continue in the ones that are part of Stitch Mania that haven't been worked on. And I'll let you know where this whips that I worked on stops, and whips I haven't worked on yet begin. But these are all the ones that are my whips that are going to be worked on for Stitch Mania. And I'll talk about a little bit about, well, you know what, let's just talk about it now. Jeez. So, my list. This is what I had 2 gaps in the first 15 days, so I filled those with new starts. And then I have a random one stuck down here that just got started in May. So the plan is, because I know my life, I have each one assigned to a day, but the way I'm going to stitch it is not per day. This is the sequence in which I will stitch on them. So if I need to skip a day, then it doesn't throw me off. It's just I know that I'll do this one, and then I'll do this one, and I'll do this one, and work my way down this sequence of projects during May. Just make it less stressful for myself, because there may be a day where I just can't stitch. So I don't want to pressure myself to be stitching every day if it just doesn't work out that way. Alright, so here's my DMC Willow, and this is what she looks like. See if I do. Okay, anyways, this is an old DMC pamphlet that you send a self-addressed stamped envelope and $1 into DMC. So this is the called for fabric. It's a 14 count DMC Ada. And this is one I will not pull out of its key snap. This is a bear to get into the Q snap. So I'll show you where I'm at. So this is where we're working. So basically I'm at the I've done the first part of it, and I'm working my way over doing all of the background half stitches. You can kind of see it right here. So all of the shading that's in the background. So if you want to see, you know, you'll see the whole thing on my next whip parade. But it's adding the background, and it's a lot of half stitches, just oodles and oodles and oodles and oodles. This is gonna be so pretty when it's so pretty now. It's gonna be absolutely gorgeous when it's done. So this one I have to be in the right frame of mind to work on because it's on such an awkward setup, but I really so it's so big, and to prevent myself from having to move the Q snap so freaking often, I think my next thing is there's another one of these fronds kind of right here, and then it comes down this way. So that's what and then we get into the part where all the really scattered stitches end up at, like so. Right all through here. There's still a lot to do on this, but it's fun, fun, fun. So this was started on, let's get my list again, 1st of May 2017. Now I can't tell you the color of the fabric because there's no point, because it doesn't exist anymore. It was, well, let's see, it was color number 738. It has a really unique variegation within the fabric. I tried to find another fabric to swap it out because I'm not a fan of stitching on a 14 count Aida. But I couldn't find anything I thought might give it the same look. Okay, so this is another whip that got stitches in the past 4 months. It is Azure Mermaid by Nora Corbett. She's so pretty. Where we're at. And I had her tail done at the beginning of the year, and I think I'd started on her hair. So this is how far I've gotten with her hair. Getting close to done with the hair, and then it's going to be skin. Lots of skin. I'm going to be doing her skin 1/1. I'm going to be doing the skin in Silver Moon Tea 1/1. And skipping my parts. So I am stitching this on 32 count Lugana, and picture this plus helix. So it's just a nice variegated light blue. There we go. She has such good coloring on her. I thought she would look really good on that fabric. So progress on Azure Mermaid. Okay, here's another project that got progress in the last 4 months. Okay, so Azure Mermaid was started on the 2nd of May 2020. And Night Walk Down was started on the 3rd of May 2020. Yep. Night Walk Down. So here's by the blue flower. There's what that project looks like. The blue flower. This is being stitched on 32 count Lugana color and cotton desert taupe. So there's where I'm at. So Whip Parade, you'll be able to see this part, and all I'm doing is I'm bringing the border over, and it's gonna be such a pretty project when it's done. So this is the end of the border before I get to the corner piece, and I think I've decided I want to just continue the border up and all the way around. Once I finish the border, then I can start on the rest of the inner stitching. So not that exciting for updates, but that's what I'm feeling like doing on this project. So, progress on Night Walk Down. Okay, so the next one is that got stitches is Growth Rings, and this was started on the 10th of May 2020. So Growth Rings by Ink Circles. I have a picture. So this is what the picture looks like. When I started this, the floss that was called for was not available. Because it was Vicki Clayton, and Vicki Clayton had not yet restarted her floss sale. Overdyed floss business. So this is where I'm at. So not very exciting. I'm not taking this out of the Q-snap because you saw the basically what I had done at the Whip Parade. So this is what I've worked on since. I'm not sold on the pink yet, but I think I want to get a little bit more blue in, get a little bit more pink in, and then make my decision. So currently I am stitching this on 32 count Lugana in Pearl Gray, which is, I believe this is Weigart. I'm using Dinky Dyes Sapphire for the blue, and currently it's pink tourmaline for the accent color. And I'm 100% sold on that blue. Just, I'm not quite sure about the pink yet. Something just doesn't feel right to me. But we'll get there. We'll make a decision. And it'll get done sometime. So, a little bit out of order because I wanted to show you what I've worked on. This is the first one that had in the grouping that has not gotten. So from now on, these are ones that are the same as from the Whip Parade. So this is Mondo, of course. Started on the 4th of May last year. So 2023, I started Mondo because I had finished my baby Yoda pattern. So here's what it looks like. Printing, my printer couldn't handle Holotet solid black very well, so there's some blemishes in the printing, but it gives you the idea of what this is going to look like. There are some sections where they stipple 2 colors, and I think I decided instead of stippling them, like do a checkerboard. Instead of doing the checkerboard with the 2 colors, I'm gonna blend them and do the band in the blended instead of checkerboarding. I think that'll make it look a little nicer. This is a pattern that I got off of Etsy. Let's see if it has to have a card. There it is. So it's from a Etsy seller called Caplio. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but you see that right there. And it's being stitched on 18 count black Aida. So that's as far as I got. Decent amount of stitches, just it's kind of a big lots of stitches in that background sun. So this is my May the 4th be with you project. I have quite a few Etsy Star Wars Mandalorian-ish projects in my stash, my Etsy stash, so I'm good for always having a May the 4th project. Okay, so the next one was started on May the 5th, 2020, and it's called Kingdom of Books. I love this pattern. So this, and it's a big one. There's the whole thing. It is a kit that I got off of mybobbin.com. It's by a Russian designer. Russian or Ukraine, not sure. But good news is I haven't, well, I mean, good news is I haven't stitched on it since the whip parade, so it's still not in a key snap. There's my progress so far. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. Look at that. Alright. So this will get some love in May. It's being stitched on Summer Sky Jobelin with all of the kit threads. 32 count Summer Sky. I think that's a Wishelt product. But it's just this gorgeous blue with white. Looks like a cloudy summer sky. So pretty. I figured it would work well with this project. Okay. Next one was started the 6th of May, 2020. 2020 was a big year. That's when I really filled out my Mania calendar. So this is a pattern by Teresa Kogut called Pray. She's so pretty. Alright, and here's where I'm at. So it's gonna get very hit. It's her hair and her hair and her face. Everything else on here is gonna be a lot of confetti. Confetti-ish. Confetti-ish. So this is being stitched on 32 count Lugana Picture This Plus Legacy. And I'm using all the called for DMCs for it. So just making progress. Right now I'm starting to fill in her hair over here. So my plan is to do the hair as I might get some of the face as I do the hair, and then I'll do the face, and then I'll do the wing. So she's just a gorgeous picture. Go. And this one was started the 7th of May 2020, and it is Elizabeth by Glendon Place. This is what it looks like, and this is being stitched on 32 count Lugana in Picture This Plus Petals, and I discovered that it's not 32 count, it's more of a 30 count, which is probably means that they mislabeled a 28 count. Because you know, Picture This Plus always ends up smaller than its count originally started at. But there's where I'm at. My center started on this one, so we're just working on that leaf bundle and the stem. Lots of gaps for so many beads. Beads and treasures. So many. Lots of gaps. But she's gonna be gorgeous. Give me a second. I forgot to put the floss back in the previous project. I label all the bags so I don't get confused with so many projects. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so the next one is, yes, okay, this was the 8th of May 2020. It is a pattern called Welcome Spring by the Drawn Thread. So there it is. Pull that off. There it is. Get you a little closer. It's a cute little. This hasn't been worked on since the whip parade, so it's out of its Q-snap. And here's where I'm at. So really, I only have to finish that bunny and do one more letter with its flowers. So the W with all the flowers. And then this will be done. This is one that's close. Close. It's being stitched on 32 count taupe Lugana with mostly called for a few substitutions. I think I substituted and then I went back and I acquired the called for threads. There's quite a bit of specialty stitches in this. So let's see. Some of the leaves are satin stitched, some of the flowers are eyelet stitched. This little miniature Smyrna for the flower there, and this basket is a lot of specialty stitches in there. So, but it's so pretty. It just looks so pretty on the fabric I chose. And I'm just waiting for the prompt that will bring this one into finished status. Because let's see, did I count what I had left? No, I didn't. I didn't count how many I have left. I'm relatively certain I can do a 200 stitch prompt on this one before I hit finished. But I'm not quite sure how many stitches I'm going to put into each project for Stitch Mania stitching. I have to wait and see what the Magical Stitches prompts for May are going to be and how many of my Mania projects I can fit into those prompts. And then we'll make the decision of how many. Because if they go into a prompt, obviously they're going to get 200 stitches. So, okay, here is my first new start for Stitch Mania. So I'm putting it in the 9th. So new starts, I will do my damnedest to start them on the day that they're assigned. So if I'm running behind and okay, so the 2 new starts will be on the day that they're assigned, and Mando will be on the 4th of May. So if I get behind, and I might do out of sequence just to get those on the days that they need to be, but you know, we'll see how that goes. So this is a project called Ready for Christmas. It's from this, no, 20 to 23, the 2023 Just Cross Stitch ornament issue, and it's by Doreen Jones. I can remember off the top of my head it's on page 81. But there he is. He's adorable. Adorable little snowman. And I will be stitching this on 32 count Lugana Vintage Stormy Night. So just a nice wintry background. And I think, because he's originally stitched on polka dotty fabric, and I tried to find it in a blue-gray motif, and it was just not easy to get a hold of. So I just decided to go with this. And once I finish it, if I feel like it, because you can see there's little 4-stitch motifs, but then there's the polka dots in the fabric, I might add beads to this to do more. Once I finish it, if it looks like it needs it, then I'll put it in. But that's going to be my first new start for Mania this year. Actually, I got an empty bucket over here I can start putting stuff into. Okay. This one was started on the 11th of May 2020. It is called DMC Rose. This is a kit by DMC. Here's the picture. So pretty. So pretty. And it's simply just called Rose. So I call it DMC Rose. And I'm stitching this on give me a second, put in my card. 18 count White Ada Easy Count by Wishelt with all the called for DMC colors. And look at that. So pretty. But again, this hasn't gotten any stitches yet in this year, so I'm happy that it will get some stitches in May. So pretty. I saw this pretty close to done on someone's Flosstube a while back, and I had to hunt for this kit. I fell in love. So pretty. Alright, so this one was started on the 12th of May, 2020. He is just adorable. This is called Mick Christmas. Look at that. I saw this finished on a Facebook post, I think, and I had to go find him. So, see, at the very bottom line, period, cross stitch. Gotta Google it because they have their own merchant site. They've got a lot of gnomes, so if you're into gnomes, go check them out. But he is just adorable. I'm stitching him on 32 count Lugana in taupe, and I think it's so pretty. So cute. Look at that little face. Let's get his thread out of there. Look at that little face. His beard is confetti gray. Gray, all the grays. Grays for days. So, I was debating. I was able to stitch his hat because it's a tartan pattern. Stitch it cross country, and I'm not sure about the beard. I might have to do parking on his beard because it's highly confettied. Lots of ninja stitches and stuff like that. And there we are. I love this guy, so I'm jazzed that I'm gonna get him back out in May. All right, this one was started on, excuse me, the 13th of May, 2020. This is Winter Snow Owl by Blackberry Lane Designs. There he is. He is being stitched on 32 count Lugana Picture This Plus Dwarf. And there he is. Gosh. You can let me get really close. You can see the 1/1 snowflakes that I am working on that surround him. So once those 1/1 snowflakes are done, it's beading time. So once I get those beads in, it's a finish. I would say he's close-ish to a finish because there's a lot of 1/1 stitches in those snowflakes. I've done about 2/3 of the circle around him, so I just got one more third of that circle to finish. And then there's a lot of beads in him. So cute. This will be, I'm going to make him into an ornament, and he's going to be a gift for my son, who he loves barn owls. Okay, so this is my second new start for Mania, and it's my May kit start for Cross Stitch Kit Start 2024, and this is Birds in Winter. It's an old kit by Creative Accents, which if not mistaken, that's the precursor to Dimensions. It's basically what we call a vintage kit. It's so pretty. So and I found the perfect project bag for it. This is a project bag by Creations by Mary Rose. As soon as I was flipping through my project bags and I saw chickadees, I was like, yes, yes. So this is being stitched on 32 count Vintage Stormy Night. I figured that would look good because the bottom half of this has areas that's not stitched. So this will be open here and here and some in here. You know, so there's open areas, and I thought that winter sky would look really good for it. So new start. So I'm doing a top left start, and I have my thread anchored in that spot where it's going to start. So it's all ready to go. It's got so much floss. I'm using the kit floss with my own fabric. So then, this guy was started on the 15th of May. So my new start for Birds of Winter, I'm planning it for the 14th of May because that's where I had a gap. So this is the 15th of May. It's called Compass Rose. It's an out of print pattern by Draco Lair Creations. Let's get this out. And this is what it looks like. There is so many fractionals in this, but I think it's gonna be just gorgeous when it's done. So I think you can find this maybe on eBay, but so this is being stitched on 32 count Joblin by Color and Cotton in the color Sandstone, because I needed a fabric that looked like an old map, and the fabric it was originally called for is no longer available. The dyer doesn't sell anymore. So I had to find an alternate, and I think I did really good. Alright, so this is the top. You saw this at the whip parade, but we're showing it now. So I am so close to finishing the border, and once I finish the stitching the border, you can see right here is where I started the back stitch on the border. So I started back stitching as I stitched. So once I finish stitching, then I'm going to continue back up and around till I get back down to here with all the back stitching on the border. And then we're going to move into the center motif. So this is monstrous. This is a blanket of a project. So I am just Jones about almost getting so close to getting that border done, and then I get to move in and get some of that center motif. Just excited about this one. I try to fit him into every prompt that I can. Alright, so that was Compass Rose. Alright, so my last Stitch Mania project was started on the 18th of May. Okay, so Compass Rose was actually started in 2019, and Autumn is Coming was started on the 18th of May 2023. So this is I got this off Etsy, but I think she's been starting to move into print so you may be able to find it other places. But this is by a designer called Stitches Through the Years. It's just a little, you know, really small Quaker motif project. I've already completed Winter is Coming, and I have Spring is Coming started. Did I start Summer? No. I have Spring started, but Summer is kitted but not started yet. So this is where I'm at. And I did change out the floss on, I'm doing some floss, just a couple. Let me see if I wrote it down. Okay. So for the wreath, I used Color and Cotton Old Brick, and I think that variegation in that one is just beautiful. I'm using Old Red paint for the acorn part of the acorns. The cap is, I think, what's called for. So that one. And these little Quaker ones are fun stitch. So when I finish, I'll always give you a rundown of what I ended up with my changes to the threads. But sometimes it's a work in progress. Still figuring out what threads I want to use. Okay, so there are all Whips and Mania projects. The next thing we're going to talk about is, let's do a little bit of Stitchy Life review for the past 4 months. I went to 3 retreats. I went to Stitch Away in January. I went to Steel City Stitchers in April. And I went to the Albuquerque retreat, spring retreat. I think she's calling it now the Garden Getaway, because the store is called Stitcher's Garden. I went to there the weekend after Steel City Stitchers. Alright, so I had so much fun at all of them, but what we're going to show you now, so Stitch Away was a full week. I did the full week, and it was fun. Okay, so we did classes, and I think that's what made the week format work, was having the classes. So the first class I did was Strawberry Pincushion. So it's just on a spool, and what I have left to do is there is a herringbone stitch to do around the border of the leaves. They're just being held in place by pins, but so cute. This class was taught by Susan Coates. She is the finisher for Keepsakes, and she is a doll. She is just such a cool person. Alright, so my next one was Intro to Punch Needle. And this was my practice piece. So the line, just doing a simple line, and then we started doing this little starfish. I didn't like the floss that she had chosen to fill in, so I picked my own floss, and when I get the motivation, I will work on that, finish that up. It'd make sense if I had that floss with me to show you, but I don't. Okay, this is my first time punch needle. What I learned is I don't enjoy blending threads like we did on this border. The two threads they don't like, it just doesn't work very well. So decided I probably won't be blending threads anymore. Alright, the next one was called Cute as a Button Wool Applique. So this is a little box to hold your buttons. It's hard to show you. She gave us some little buttons to put in the box, but there's what it looks inside. This is actually a napkin ring. So we added a bottom to it, just random scrapbook paper, and then this top to go into it. Let's put the buttons back in. So the top fits down right in there, and that was, so I managed, so the embroidery of the snowflake went really well. Getting the round piece of that tacked on there didn't go very well. So it's kind of wonky, but that's okay. That makes it original. And it was a fun class to do. So just this cute little box made from a napkin ring. Putting it on there. Okay. So the next class was three-way tomato. The reason she said three-way because we did the big one, and then she showed us, explained what the medium one is basically like the big one, but the small one has differences. The teeny one has differences. So we did the big one, and this is what I chose to do on it. I love how it turned out, and I got it stuffed really, really firm, and I love how my stem turned out. Just this gnarly, odd looking stem. So here's my tomato. I think this was my favorite thing I did, was the tomato. So pretty. So the next class, don't have a project to show you because it was just a discussion, but it was called Getting the Most from Your Overdyed Floss, and it was probably about half of it I knew, and the other half was cool stuff that I could learn. So that was fun. And then the other one that I wasn't originally signed up for, but I saw it and just couldn't resist, was called Incorporating Specialty Stitches by Carolyn Coates, which is Susan's daughter. And so this is basically what it looks like. She took an existing cross-stitch pattern and she changed it so that you have different specialty stitches in all the parts of the pumpkin, and then the background is fully covered in another stitch. So what we did is we practiced. Let's see if we can do this. We practiced some of the stitches that we're going to need in the project, and just to get, some practice, get a good handle on how those specific stitch. They have wonderful stitch guides, how each stitch goes together. So I have yet to get the canvas mounted on the stretcher bars and get started, but one of these days I'll get inspired to get started on it. I think once I get my Lowry stand set up, but we have to wait for somebody to pass away before that happens. Okay, so that was fun. Alright, so those were the classes that I took, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun doing those. Alright, so the next thing is we'll talk about plans. So Stitch Mania, I've already discussed. We're gonna do what we can and just have fun with it. I have StitchCon coming in June and Sirens in San Antonio in June as well. And then there are October. October is the next retreats, and then November is one. I got 2 in October, 1 in November. And then again, stitch away a whole week. So there we are. Alright, so now we're going to go into books. Since I've not talked about books before in my Flosstube videos, so when I say I read a book, it means I listened to the audiobook, because I love audiobooks. Audiobooks are just, I feel they're more entertaining. There's a whole new level of just the story. There's just hard to explain. There's just a depth to the story with people having the different voices. Just love them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I will talk about what I've read this year so far. It's not going to be, I'm not going to go into a synopsis of too many of them. And then, let's see, maybe I'll go back through last year's lists and see if there's any ones that pop into my head I would really recommend type books. Alright, so for April, I read the main book called The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. I'm enjoying the books. There's a few people I've talked to who are they just can't. Like, I couldn't do the Disney Keepers series. No, couldn't. Percy Jackson, I got a few books into it and I was like, nope. I did well with last year's Jennifer Cherini. Anyways, her quilt books were good. The previous years to that, the Cozy Murder Mystery, couldn't do it. Okay, but so far so good. I'm enjoying the main book series books. So the prompt for a cover with light green, bright yellow, or peach, I read Our Wives Under the Sea, and it was a very good story. This is one that was in the 5 years favorite horror books list on Goodreads that I started working on a few years ago. I am currently just past 50% of that list. So as I knocked out quite a few of quite a few of those books when I first started, and then I got back into Magical Stitches reading prompts. So I'll try to fit those remaining books into prompts whenever I can. So that was a unique and a very entertaining story, so I would recommend giving that one a try. So the next project is Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I don't have the, so I'm using my, how I keep track of my Magic Stitches. I don't have the authors written down here. So as I go along, if I can't remember and you're interested, just comment and ask me, or, just a second, I got a crick in my neck. Or just Google it. You should be able to find it. But if you have a question, just let me know. So, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Awesome. Simply awesome. The prompt was a book set in space. And this book is now in my top 5 books read all time. This is so good. So, and I think the audiobook version is just going to be better than the read version because of how they do the alien's voice is amazing. This book, I highly recommend you give it a try. I loved it. Okay, so the third prompt for April was the title had to have the word year in it. So I chose Year of the Monkey by Patti Smith. And I enjoyed the book. It kind of detracted from it a little bit because I'm not really familiar with Patti Smith. I have a gist of what she's known for, but I don't have a whole lot of experience with her material. So she writes well. I enjoyed that part. The narrator, she's the narrator, and she does really well with narrating her own writing. What really turned me off on this book is it got highly political. And I just don't really enjoy books that get highly political. So I can't recommend that book. Okay, so for March, the main book was called Ironside. That was pretty good. Give me a second. The first prompt was a cover with bright green, gold, or purple. So I read The Obelisk Gate. I am not going to try to pronounce the author's name. And because I can't pronounce it, it's not in here. I can't roll it off like I do the other ones. It's a part of a trilogy, and you'll see the first one. So I started reading this first one because of a prior prompt. So its cover was purple, and it's a sci-fi kind of book, and it's a good story. I'm really enjoying it. So I do recommend this one. Prompt number 2 was it had to have a female villain. So I read the third book in a trilogy, and the title was The Angel of Indian Lake. It's by Stephen Graham Jones. So I think it was My Heart is a Chainsaw, and God, I can't remember what the other one was called. So it's the last one in the trilogy, and I really enjoyed this trilogy. It was good. It was very good. So I recommend that one. And for prompt number 3, it had to have in the title the word door. So I had this in my Audible library, so I listened to The Child Next Door, and I wouldn't recommend it do in just a little bit, because the story was good. I just hit a point where I couldn't handle how there was just a part that I couldn't handle listening to the whiny bit, because she wasn't being listened to, and so it gets really whiny. But I increased the speed so it goes faster, and I got past that part and I got back to where it gets good, and so I listened to it the rest of the way. So it is good, except for that part that I had to freaking fast forward, speed up so it goes faster. So I get the gist of the story. I just don't have to listen to the part that was really aggravating me. Alright, so for February reading, the main book was Valiant by Holly Black. So all the books this year are by Holly Black. Holly Black. Yes. Okay, yes, Holly Black. Had a brain fart there for a moment. So the first prompt was cover that is bright red, pink, or fuchsia. And so I chose The Whispering Room, which is the second book in the Jane Hawk series by Dean Koontz. And I really do. I love Dean Koontz writing, and this is very good story, so I recommend. Okay, so prompt number 2 was you had to have a Black, Indigenous, or person of color author. So and this is where I started reading the Broken Earth series. So the first book was the 5th season, and I'm definitely enjoying that. So I hope a prompt next month I can read the 3rd book in the series. So prompt number 3 for February was, in the title you had to have the word house. So I chose A House with Good Bones. And I think that's T. Kingfisher. Don't quote me on that. But I read one of his books for the horror book list, and I like his writing. So, or her writing. God, I don't even know, because it's an initial. T. Kingfisher. I might have to look that up so I don't give misinformation. Alright, so A House with Good Bones, and that was good. I like that story. Okay, so January's reading was, main book was Tithe, because it's a tithe, it's a ode. Okay, you know what well, you may not know what tithe is. I know because I read the book Unstrung. Anyway, so that was, and then for the first prompt, I'm not going to say much about those books because it's a it's a world building. It's a new world and it's hard to talk about when you haven't read more of it. Okay, so the first prompt for January was a white, light blue, or teal cover. And so I read, I think it's the 2nd book in this series. It's called Undeath and Taxes. It's about an accountant who becomes a vampire, and he's surprised that it doesn't automatically change him into a super suave, gorgeous individual. He's still the clumsy, odd person that he was. But it's humorous, and I'm really enjoying the series. So prompt number 2 was an author that's new to me, and I got this recommendation from Emily's TBR video, so thank you, Emily. So I read Sacre Bleu And that was a unique and a very good book. I enjoyed that. I'm trying to think of Christopher... It's not Christopher Cross. No, that's another author. But it's Christopher Moore. That was the author. That was very good. So I'm probably going to have to read more of his books. I really enjoyed it. And then the third prompt was you had to have the word lost in the title. So I listened to The Lost Man, and it was set in Australia, about a death at a ranch in the area of Australia that is just wide open scrubland. And it was pretty good. Pretty good. I don't have any big complaints about it. Alright, so let's see. Let's just quickly go through last year's. So in December, oh wait, before we do last year's, this year, in previous years, they had monthly reading prompts, and then they had a yearly challenge. So you had a list on the yearly challenge you could work on when you finished your monthly prompts. Well, Emily doesn't have a yearly challenge. So when I finish my books for the monthly prompts, I'm like, what do I do now? Well, I got a recommendation on one of the platforms. I saw this, and it was an author I had not read before. So I looked at the book, sounded interesting, then I saw it was part of a series, and then I saw she had multiple series. So I started reading Danica Dark, and I finished the first series, the Measury series. It started with the book Sterling, finished that, including the novellas. And I've started on the 7 series. So I've read 7 years, then 6 months, and 5 weeks, and now I'm on 4 days. And I'm really enjoying that series. So then after the 7 series, it's the Crossbreed series, and then after that is the Black Arrowhead series. There's 4 books in that one right now. So when I finish my monthly prompts, I just go back to one of those books and I'm working my way through that series. When I finish that, I have to figure out what I'm going to do next. I might choose one of the ongoing series that I have and just start knocking them out. Okay, but I've read, I think there were 9 books in the Measury series. I'm in 7, 6, 5, 4. I'm on the 4th book of the 7 series. Okay, so, well, this is not very good, because I have my monthly prompts written down here, but I don't have my yearly challenge books that I read written down here. So maybe what I'll do is I will put together a video with all of the books for last year that I read, since I don't have everything right here. I feel bad by just doing partial. So we're going to end it here, and I think maybe the next, either I'll do a separate video, or the next time I film, I will update you on what I've read since this one, and we'll add on to the very end a 2023 book reading rundown. So, all right. So that's where we're going to end. All right. So thank you guys for joining me for however long this video ended up being, and happy stitching to everybody, and we'll catch you next time.